there in the web. And our agenda is brief tonight. I was hoping that Mark was going to be on hand tonight to take us through what he has discussed for his agenda, which arrived moments before our November meeting. But I think we can go over that a little bit and then jump into some of the other projects we're working on.
Here he is.
Is he? That is phenomenal. We held the meeting for 45 minutes just trying to get the technology worked out. We have a new screen on the wall, so Mark is here, and we're going to put him in the spotlight relatively quickly here. But just to discuss his notions of the 2027 budget fiscal year. So we'll look into that. We will. Everybody's had a chance to review the minutes from last month. Any corrections on the notes that we've missed?
Look good to me.
All quiet. I like it. A motion to accept would be appropriate now.
I'll move we accept the minutes as written.
Second. All right. All in favor? Say
Aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed? It is unanimous. That's great. Mark, want to just have you, if you could, spend a couple of minutes with the budget that you put together for us and submitted like shortly before the last meeting. I don't know if you have any paperwork in front of you, but I've got your email that you sent out.
Yeah, so, yeah, that budget has been submitted to the town right now.
Excellent.
It is going, it's raising all kinds of flags because the budget's gone up so much, but I told them not to worry about it because we're going to go through CPC for some, so
Sure.
to leave it. So I have not started the CPC process yet, but,
We'll see you there.
CPC meetings are hard to make because they're, and, yeah.
Same time
It's Affordable Housing Trust meetings a lot, that's why Portland doesn't make them, so. But, yeah, I think I might see Carolyn tomorrow, so I might start. Let you know, I'll brief her on this one, so.
Great. And have you had a chance to get over to the water department to check the status on applications for herbicide treatments and that sort of thing? Or
So I talked to people last week about the RFPs. They were planning on getting them. I sent them the Westford RFP.
Great.
I don't know how much of it they're going to adopt. They were looking at it. They're planning to get the RFP published somewhere in the January-ish timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I haven't seen what they've done. I haven't seen any information from them.
That's good.
They have the information.
Dialogue's open.
Yep.
So when you forwarded them what we provided from Westford, had they, when you talked to them, had they had a chance to look at it, or they just said, thanks, we'll look at it?
They said, thanks, I'll look at it. They hadn't, they didn't have it.
And was this Matt?
I don't remember who I talked to over there, but yeah, they're aware of the stuff. I talked to conservation and water, so they both know what's going on, so. Yeah.
And they know that we're planning to do herbicide treatments on Speckled Pond and Forge Pond.
Yes.
Okay.
That's great. Hopefully things go smoothly. Just to bring everybody else up to speed, a few weeks ago, Dave and I met with Mark just to review the budget as it stands and to suggest that they go for an herbicide treatment, but under a contract that will give us some more flexibility in terms of the amount of money spent, rather than just going on a quote basis. Maybe we go by some quantity yet to be determined, whether it's the amount of money we have to spend or the amount of time we want them to spend or some other factor. There's other variables that Westford uses.
Yeah, I mean, so this is not bidding on a project like, we're gonna repair these streets and here's the definite project, right? In this case, we don't know what's going to be done. until we do the first part of the project, which is the plan survey. The plan survey tells us, you know, what the issues are, and then the vendor will make a recommendation as to what we should be doing based on the plan survey. And then we'll have some coordination and collaboration on, based on, you know, what our intentions are and what our funding is. And so it is appropriate for the bids to be incremental, you know, per acre or per hour, or so that whatever the final decision is for the treatment, then the funding follows.
We have the funding,
Cost
so-
comes from that.
And because they can't do that's what you're saying, I think, is they can't do the scoping essentially until the spring when they can count the plants or do whatever
They
surveys they
can't,
do.
they can't scope it out
So we
until
can't
the
budget for
project
it,
is actually
yeah.
started.
Okay. That makes sense.
And we also should have terminology in there which allows the treatments to be adjusted based on the funding available. And if, you know,
It wouldn't have to say that, right? It could just say that the town will, in its judgment, choose the amount. The quote is in some quantity, as you say, hours, acres, something, and the town can choose what quantity to actually secure.
I think it's useful to have that stated explicitly, that, you know, the actual treatment can be adjusted and agreed on partly based on the funding available. Last year, we had a bid, we had funding that we wanted to use for herbicide treatment, and we weren't able to do the treatment because our funding wasn't equal to the $150,000 bid. And the assessment was, if you don't have the funding for the whole bid, then can't do it.
Right, I don't remember.
So we're
Yeah.
happy to sit down and
Yep.
work together on what is appropriate and
Moving
what's
through the-
useful. Yeah.
And it was decided not, you mentioned in your original budget, you had money for Doleful. I talked to, conservation, and they think they can go out and scope it out themselves and not spend money.
Splendid. I'd always endorse that. That's really good news. Thank you.
So they're just gonna go out and look and see if there's water chestnuts, basically.
Can't beat it. Rather than spending thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Get the same result. That's real good. That's real good. Okay.
So the latest budget we did have almost $6,000 for Doleful Pond. Was that partly, that was,
So the budget I said doesn't have any money, they're going to do it on company time, basically. And then if there is a problem, we'll have to figure out what to do,
Mhm.
okay.
but the assumption.
Do you
Okay,
think they'll do like an invasive plant management day where they get volunteers and that's how they're gonna do it?
That's what I hope they do.
Yeah, okay.
Or you
Keep
volunteer,
your eyes out for those. I've done those. They're fun. I mean, fun. I haven't done it in the pond.
I've done the weed warrior.
Yeah, the weed war, yeah,
You learn which ones not to pick.
yeah,
If they tell you to come and help with swallowwort, you're busy.
yeah, that's a hard one. That is a hard one. All right,
That's great. I'm still, a little confused here. I'm getting, pictures on the screen here, but I've still got the agenda up there that seem to pop up out of nowhere.
because that, oh, I don't know.
You're sharing.
You probably need to go
Wait
to
1 second, maybe I just,
view.
Oh.
No, you probably need to go to, oh, wait, hide.
Isn't it that computer that you're sharing?
Yeah, I think.
no, it's me, believe it or not.
Just hide,
Okay.
let me see. Oh, go to layout. And do.
Well,
you
we're
can just
figuring that out.
pin that if
I
you want,
mentioned
but
I've
just
been in
click on the middle of
contact
that
with
one. Oh, I say
Chair
content
Tom
only.
Rainey about
Yeah.
attempting to get them to do,
Shoulder.
ask them
Yeah.
over here.
Oh, that's changing that. Yeah.
Pertaining to
Yeah,
Canopy.
well, just, okay,
And
just
so
gonna
he
get rid of
said he was gonna pick it up. They canceled their last meeting.
but it's still there.
I'm hopeful that that's gonna.
You don't want that showing up there. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I was just going for all of the camera shots up there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Go back to layout.
Hey, David,
Yeah.
let's figure.
Maybe I have to change that on this screen.
Losing money.
Hmm?
So you guys figured out what you're doing with the use and losing money this year?
I'll tell you what, I think I found it.
we don't have any.
I did it. I did it.
I think you have the money in the DPW budget.
What did you have to change?
It had a separate
There's a line
tab,
item
my
in the
screen.
DPW budget, so you can use it by.
Annual
First
assessment.
you lose it.
Learning together.
So this year we have, 8,500, in fiscal year 26, 8,500 from the water department for, water quality testing and hydro view dashboard. 39,000 for the dredging permits. Spectacle Pond has 69,000, 74,000 for invasive plant mitigation, 26,000 for preservation plan, and 30,000 for boat ramp planning. Forge Pond has 80,000 in CPC funding currently allocated and unused. We went last week to CPC and confirmed that we could still use the 20,000 that they allocated, that they agreed we could reallocate for herbicides last summer. We can use it this summer for herbicides, so we're planning to use 20,000 for herbicides this summer, and we will have 60,000 left over for eco harvesting for the future. Long Lake has 22,000 remaining from CPC for eco harvesting, and they have 17,000. We have 17,000 for Long Lake remaining from CPC for floating island removal. And 20,000, and Mill Pond has 20,000 of CPC funding remaining for boat ramp engineering.
Mhm.
And Doleful has 1,600 of
Justin.
water chestnut. Where was that from?
That was, CPC.
CPC, okay. So, I don't know what the 30,000 went for. Did the 30,000 go to partly pay for the dredging permit?
That's my assumption. Because the water department stepped up and took up more than their fair share on that.
We had 25,000 for, right,
It was 10 to 15, 10 in DPW.
10 and 15, right, so.
Right.
So there was 25,000 of that, so that 25 went to the dredging permit. And water department added an additional 14,000 for the dredging permit. So if I could based on Mark's input reporting last month for FY 27, we have 6,000 for the water department for water quality testing and 2,500 for HydroView dashboard. For Spectacle Pond, there's 80,000 from the water department for plant mitigation. For Forge Pond, there's 40,000 for plant mitigation from the select board.
To be determined.
It's tentative.
Okay. Not from the water department and presumably not from the CPC or
It's
possibly from the CPC?
Possibly from the CPC, not the
Okay.
water fund.
And 29,000 for lake preservation plan. We previously had 20,000 for engineering study, which for Forge Pond for the drawdown improvements. That was at one point allocated for FY25, and it was not spent. It was matched, going to be matched by Friends of Forge Pond. Again, last week we went to CPC and gave them a heads up that we were going to be asking them for 20,000 for that engineering study for Forge Pond. And they were receptive. They said, come back with a actual application. They said we could treat our discussion last time as the needs assessment. I went to Westford CPC last night and asked them for matching 20,000 for that engineering study in their needs assessment session. So we'll go back next month with an actual application for 20,000 for the Forge Pond engineering study, matching from them. I also asked them for 20,000 for herbicides for next summer, to match the 20,000 that we were going to be using from Littleton CPC. And they said, again, come back next month and we'll talk about it some more.
Did you get a generally good feeling, or
They
is this a long shot?
There, so the Littleton CPC, when you come in with the needs assessment, they will actually tell you, do you qualify to even apply for this funding or not? And so if you don't qualify, you'll know you don't have to go through the process for application. Westford does it differently. Westford, you basically come in and give them a heads up that this is what you're planning to do, and they say, okay, good to know. Apply next month and we'll consider it. So there's really no feedback. So we'll see.
When is the Westford CPC meeting? Do you know? And might I attend?
I do know, but I don't have it right here. I can let you know. The applications are due January 9th. And then they are gonna take a week to look at them. And then
So mid-January.
I think the 21st might be their first meeting where they actually, so there's no meeting on the 9th when you submit them, you just submit them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have like 3 or 4 sessions where they basically interview you, they schedule you to come in and talk about it. 21st, 28th, and then 2 in February. And then the warrants have to be done by some early March. So I can let you know I can share the schedule with you for what the interview dates are. So for FY27 for Long Lake, we have 25,000 for aquatic invasive mitigation and 29,000 for lake preservation plan. For Mill Pond, nothing, and for Buffalo Pond, nothing. So that's what is currently being discussed. I did have a question about when looking at the breakdown of the preservation plans, there was, nothing that stood out as looking at the watershed. To see, there's evaluations of different things in the lake itself. But nothing about the watershed and what's coming into the lake. And, for, I think for Long Lake, even though it's a small lake, it's got a very small watershed. There's so much coming in from the runoff that it's still, I think, would be important consideration in terms of what would be recommended. And for Forge Pond, it's also important because the watershed for Forge Pond is enormous. It goes all the way up to Boxborough and over to Patriot Beverage. So, and there's a lot of wetlands and farmland that's, I would recommend that we include in our planning costing for the plan to include looking at including a line item in there for looking at the watersheds. And then my other question was, there's 4,000 for findings, and the preservation plan collects all this data, and then the objective would be to, okay, assimilate that and review what the issues are and what our options are, and based on specifically, what this lake is experiencing, what are the appropriate, options and recommendations in terms of what we should be considering to do. And there's there's all these line items for collecting data, and then there's one last line item for findings report, $44,000, which kind of sounds like they're just collecting, pulling together all of the data that's been collected and reporting it, and not, again, that budget for actually, reviewing it and assessing, what is appropriate in terms of options and recommendations for the lakes.
I'll ask what they.
So you're questioning whether or not findings includes recommendations.
Findings includes whether that includes a budget for them to be able to make those assessments.
Leon, for Spec Pond, did they do a watershed review? Do you know, for that plan that you
Yes, they do.
do?
Yep.
So the one difference I would suggest, that we should be aware of in that regard is that Spectacle Pond had an existing preservation plan in place from 10 years ago or so. So they may have been able to assess the watershed really hasn't changed, or it has these specific changes in the last 10 years, and they wouldn't have to do as much work to assess that as they would for Long Lake and Forge Pond.
Yeah, we did a plan 20 years ago. Same company, well, same personnel doing the current plan.
Right. So that standing on the shoulders of the previous one, they might not have had to put as much effort into looking at the watershed.
Yep.
Good call out. I know that was something you were interested in with the Aspen, like runoff gardens, and which we talked about before.
I was just looking up different kind of road salts, thinking about yesterday, what they put on the roads. I know the town uses some advanced sort of salt, not calcium chloride, but something else, but I keep thinking about that result that came out from the highway department, the briefing they gave us last time about the phosphates that are at the bottom of the lake, and then you want to keep those. It almost sounds like it's all set up with all the nutrients it needs forever to grow weeds. I just wonder if there's anything we can actually do by preventing things to go in, and if it really will help. I'm just confused by the whole thing. It seemed pretty much doom and gloom from what I heard last week. Anyway,
Yeah.
But if we build a rain garden, at least the Robs would be happy.
Yeah,
So some of those considerations are things that we would expect to get out of the preservation plan, right?
It would be good to see where it's coming into the lake, but it also seems like the lake already has got a
Right,
large
right.
quantity of nutrients.
Well, there is a sediment assessment which would address how much is there already in the.
Well, we got that last week, didn't we? The water department?
No, they didn't, we didn't do sediment, we did water sampling. And there was a discussion about what happens to it and that, you know, some of it does go down into the sediment. But this actually includes sampling of the sediments and it doesn't, well, hydrologic and nutrient budget presumably could include evaluating what kind of phosphorus and nitrogen are coming in the tributaries in,
and the roads, yeah.
right? Ideally, right?
Well, looking forward to seeing both of these come together. I think Long Lake, if we could tap the data that Geosyntec compiled during the Long Lake Preservation project of 25 years ago. They tested out storm drains, they did all kinds of area stuff, and all that data is just part of their records right now. So work they did at the beach, work they did for rain gardens, work they did from a wetland park. You know, we could tap that. Well, we might even opt to use Geosyntec for the preservation plan, which would be a big advantage.
Can we get their data even if they don't do it?
I would imagine it.
Right? Isn't that our data? Is it paid for it?
Well,
Well, I mean, presumably there's a report on that then, right?
what's that?
Presumably there's a report from 2000.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have a lot of that data at the water department, but it's never been organized. So it would be like going through computer files and trying to sort out, you know, what you can grab. We have some documents, I'll bet Leon has some documents, I have some documents from that period of time. But it's not in any sort of order, and I would imagine that Geosyntec would have all that data that they could just follow up just from the project file alone. So.
Contact Ned Silverman, he's got it, I've gotten a few more.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but yeah, that to see those two programs proceed next year would be a real shot in the arm, and more than I had originally anticipated, so all the better. At this point, well, you were talking about Forge Pond and other projects. I know the study of the drawdown has been suspended, and I don't know. Is that something we can bring up with the water department to see if that can happen in 2027 or?
They discussed it and they said that we need to go to CPC for that.
Oh, which we can do.
We talked to them about it last week and they said, this is like our needs assessment that our discussion.
Right.
So come back with your application.
Yeah.
And we are asking Westford CPC for funding too.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
No, it's great. That would be
Yeah, matching funding from Westford.
super.
Yeah.
Super. All right. So that's still active, and that's the only other project we have going on at Forge Pond at this point, with the exception of invasive mitigation.
Oh, right.
Hey, Dave, it's Leon. How's the drawdown going this year?
Going well. We're within 5 inches of our target at the moment,
Beautiful. Yeah.
which is about as good as we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
It's kind of holding steady now,
We just target 199. Is it 200?
199.9.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So, and you know, the weather that we had in the last couple of days, that cold weather is good and is projected to be very cold for the next 2 weeks. So that's also good. temperatures at night down in single digits and temperatures in the 20s and mid-30s for the next 2 weeks. So that's hopeful.
Looking good,
We'll see.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's good because it will freeze or because it
So-
enables the drawdown to continue. What's the?
So this is, I mean, we could go down, like say, another half foot, by our permit, but we've never been able to get really any lower than this. That's part of what the engineering study would be to, what could we do to get lower?
I think the lowest it's ever been is 1/4 of an inch lower than it is now.
Wow.
Is that regulated by the size of the sluice gate or whatever kind of opening you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, and that, the engineering
It's more
study is
complicated
to,
than that, but yes, it's the outlet that limits how low it'll go.
And that's the factor, the drawdown is what the guy at Harvard for Bear Hill said. He said, that's what will make a difference, is being able to, in the invasives, is to have a really effective drawdown.
Yeah.
Like they effectively drain Bear Hill, basically.
yeah, and we
We can't do
lower
that.
Forge Pond, and in order to have a successful drawdown, which would kill the invasive plants in the exposed lake bed, you need to have low water level that stays low. And then you need 2 weeks of below freezing, kind of round the clock.
More than below freezing, because, water freezes at 32, but water in a plant has stuff in it.
Yeah.
That doesn't freeze until 28, 26. We need 2 weeks of really hard freeze for it to really work.
Does snow cover play a role in that at all? Or is it better if there's very little precipitation of any sort?
I don't think the snow cover makes a big difference in the temperature of the exposed area. The snow cover does help when we have ice on the lake and then the snow covers it, and that cuts out the sunlight into the
Below water.
areas that we haven't been able to expose, and that helps them to die over the winter too.
Part of what kills the plants is desiccation. So snow cover, to the extent that the ground is a little warmer, maybe that provides some, I don't really know if the snow cover mitigates.
Yeah, the snow cover is supposed to provide a blanketing effect. So you don't want snow. Very cold temperatures, no snow, 2 weeks, pond level low. That's the mechanism.
You're gonna get whatever you want, that's what you want.
Yeah.
But then, as Dave says, then you want snow to cover the ice so that the sun doesn't reach the plants you didn't expose.
Right.
Right.
Well, last year, we had great snow coverage and we had great, ice at Long Lake.
Right.
And I think that was a real benefit to us,
Yeah.
but that was below water line. We don't have any way of exposing the littoral zone, at all. There's no drawdown possibility there.
Right.
But then snow cover would be a real advantage. It sounds like it would be a disadvantage here. It seems like you just want to have cold temperatures, very little precipitation,
Yeah.
and no fluctuation in the water level.
I just want to add one other thing that, for those who haven't heard it before, weeds only grow where the water is less than 10 to 12 feet deep in Forge Pond. There aren't any weeds at deeper level because the water's dark and sun doesn't get there. So the amount of the area of the lake in which weeds grow is only about half of the lake bottom. And of that, we expose about half. We expose about half when it's as low as it is now. They're almost half. So it's good, if we get a hard freeze here, we're really hammering about half of the weeds. But it's, of course, incomplete.
All right, go drawdown.
Well, every year, cross your fingers.
Are you doing drawdown at spec? Leon?
Yes. It's a very
How's
minimal
that go?
drawdown. We don't have a lot of leeway. Couple of feet, that stops.
So
Oh,
just
yeah,
to the people that aren't aware, the engineering study we're proposing for Forge Pond would look at making changes to the outlet structures to see if we could increase the capacity of the outflow to better match the inflow and, get lower. Part of it's to get, be able to get the level lower, and part of it is to keep it there. When the weather's warm and we get rain instead of snow, then it, brings the water back up quickly, the level up, and then it slowly goes down because the outlet capacity is limited. So if we had more outlet capacity, we could bring it back down again and keep it more uniformly at the low level.
They ever use a siphon, some kind of over the dam?
Bear Hill uses a siphon. Yeah.
They have a whole pumping station and they effectively drain Bear Hill.
That would be a real challenge at Forge Pond, though. The flow through Forge Pond is pretty high. So the size of the siphon you'd need, and it'd just be huge.
It might be cheaper than modifying the dam. But I don't know, I guess when they do the study, they'll tell us, right? How to.
It could be, but, it's a one-time thing.
The study is a one-time thing.
No, any changes you make could be,
Mm.
and we'd be, if the study shows that we, could benefit from doing something, we would look to, state grants to see what we could do for
Mhm.
paying for it.
That's how Bear Hill was funded. I think it was state grants, he
Mhm.
said. Yeah. Cool.
That's great. We good there? At Forge? All right. Leon,
Yeah,
I wonder if you could share a little bit of information with us, on, Spec Pond at this point. Was wondering about the engineering study for the dock, or the launch, is there any news?
no, the last time I contacted Nick, it was sort of backburnered at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we need to do about that?
Push on Nick. We got the money at CPC money.
Right,
It's a question of how busy he is, what he's having to contend with, obviously.
yeah,
I'll ping him again.
that would be a plus.
Say again?
I said that would be a plus, because, we'd look forward to some sort of results on that next year,
Yeah.
that would be really good.
This is for planning for the boat ramp.
This is some kind of a plan or a proposal, for their boat launch,
Yes.
that somehow mitigates the terrible drop.
And we're relying on the water department to come up with a plan?
We have CPC money for this.
Yeah.
But they would be reaching out to the engineer to.
Oh, they would be,
establish a
contracting it.
contract.
Yeah, TRC will likely do the work.
Yeah,
And I read in the town newsletter yesterday, they just turned the sewer on, right? So I would imagine Nick has been focused on that.
yeah.
So that's ready. Are people starting to hook up to that? Or is
It's about
that,
a month. They're doing testing.
Yeah.
The sewer in the common area?
So the sewer plant is over at 110,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
but all the town buildings are now running through it. But they haven't opened it up to new hookups yet until, they do the final testing.
The testing.
so this building is already on it?
I believe so.
Wow, go flush, guys.
So like these three buildings here?
All the town buildings in the area are on it, except the police station.
The library and,
Library.
These buildings, the fire station,
the middle school, or the middle school and the,
Police station's part of this,
the police station is not,
too far out of the loop.
yes,
I see the fire department
but the fire station is.
and the senior center.
Yep.
Wow.
And Hager is on it too.
What is it?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, they were on the old system. So,
There was an old
This-
system?
the old system was at the high school, but it's.
Oh, the common septic system.
Yeah, the common
Oh,
septic.
I see, yeah.
If anyone switched over, they had to switch them all over, so.
Yeah.
This should help Forge Pond, right? I mean, I don't know. We need a preservation plan to assess this, to see what percent of the nutrients in Forge Pond come in through
Beaverbrook.
and the result of the septic systems of all of these town buildings, but putting them all on the sewer removes all of that input to Beaver Brook.
Mm-hmm.
So that's helpful.
Yeah.
You're glancing my way. You have a question or?
I'm glancing because I don't know what agenda item we're discussing right now. It feels like we're off topic and.
Oh, no, not at all.
It's making me
Active
nervous.
projects.
We're going through active projects and we're
Time,
just
but we're
about,
talking about the town sewer. So.
that was a tangent.
That's Cammy's.
That was a tangent. I was just pointing out that Nick might be busy. Sorry.
No, that's granted. In fact, it brings us to Mill Pond. For a long time, well, ever since the failure of the dredging plan at Mill Pond, we've been sort of at loose ends and unable to move forward. There are a few things that are happening right now at Mill Pond. One of which is we're hopefully securing the funds that were left behind from the Mill Pond Association. Is that something that?
That's my job and I need to work on that. Not sure.
Okay.
I was
okay,
thinking it's gonna be, I'm like the last person that they know exists on this. So
right.
if I ask about some money, some eyebrows will be raised, but we'll do our best.
What,
Okay.
from the bank?
Yeah,
Oh, what's the name of the association?
Mill Pond Association.
Mill Pond Association.
Short and sweet. Okay, that's what I wrote down. I thought it must be
Yeah.
more than that.
Direct,
Good.
to the point.
All right, and by the way, just to lighten things up, sorry to glare at your direction. I was glancing, maybe I
Oh, I
was,
thought you were trying to get my attention.
but to lighten things up, they call it drawdown at other ponds, but on Mill Pond, we call it mud up.
It's like cowboy up.
Does Mill Pond do an actual drawdown? No, it just, okay. It's whatever occurs naturally.
So that was one of my tasks I wanted to take on
Yeah.
was Mill Pond. I think if we look through this study, we'll find some actionable items in there. They seem to recommend removing the dam, but that couldn't be done because it's owned by DOT and it's part of the structure of the highway. But they never mentioned opening a sluice gate and lowering the dam. You don't have to get rid of the dam. All you have to do is open the sluice gate and they'll take it down 4 feet and it's only 7 feet deep. So that's something I think we should be looking into. And because it used to be done, no, of course, it was a different dam, but all up to 1900, they used to talk about, they used to lower it in the summer and raise it in the winter to get ice.
Sure.
They lowered the summer to farm.
Yeah.
But we got away from that after they built 495 or maybe before that when we got refrigerators.
Yeah, the man for ice trail off.
But if you look at the study real hard, it seems that the writers of the study like the idea of just getting rid of the dam and turning it back to the way it was prior to
That
the impoundment.
Well, that's what the
That's the
state wanted us
general
to do. That's why the whole
consensus of the state
project,
right now.
yeah, fell apart. Cause
But it fell apart because you can't get rid of dam, but you can lower the sluice gate and get 3/4 of the way there and spend nothing.
We never pursued actually removing the dam. I don't know.
No, because the study was very clear. You don't touch my dam. It's
Well,
part of the highway.
Yeah, I think the state would like to see it gone.
Yeah.
So again.
And I think it's a great idea as well. So
Yeah,
The
what
thing
I'm
is-
working up to is that we have the armature here to address this, and that is that we have a subcommittee that was formed to address the Mill Pond future.
Mhm.
And I think we'd like to see that actually meet next year and make some proposals and reach out to the community and we could make some headway.
Okay,
With the two of you here now,
Let's do it.
it's a real possibility. This goes back, this goes back a couple of advisors. But still, as I said, the armature is there. It will be a public meeting, much like this. And then it reports back to the CLC. And then we have actionable items, we move forward. And I think, we could maybe get a poll tonight here and see who wants to be a member of that committee, and see.
We have members.
Well, we do have a list, but, they said it's like 2 advisors ago and, you know, was it? Jim? No, it was before.
People were sworn into the committee.
Were we
Subcommittee.
sworn? Oh, we were sworn in. You're absolutely right. Well, we'd have to dredge up, that list. And I would recommend probably adding Jerry to the list, but we'll have to make some adjustments.
Yeah,
And then
some of the people that were on the committee are no longer here.
with us.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yes. But, yeah, can we, for next month, could you,
yeah,
that
I'll find the list and we'll send it to you.
that would be
And
great.
maybe,
It's on the website.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. I'll see if I can find it.
if you wanna get things moving, maybe we should just invite Diane to come and. It doesn't matter what the old subcommittee is, but swear in a new one.
Well, we could, you know, we could
So what are
get
you,
new members sworn in or
what
whatever.
are you actually trying to do with the subcommittee? Right, and how many, what are you? I understand you wanna talk about Long Lake, but I'm trying to figure out what.
No, we want to talk about Mill
Well, I'm
Pond.
sorry, Mill Pond. But, what you're trying to actually accomplish to figure out whether you need members sworn in or what you're physically.
That's a good point. Why can't we just do it as part of the CLC? Why do we have to have a subcommittee?
Well, even if,
Well, we don't have to have a subcommittee. We have a subcommittee. It's never met.
but if there's like 2 of you or 3 of you doing it, it doesn't have to be a separate subcommittee, and I'm
But
not
it
even sure
could
that.
be,
Well, there were like 5 or 6.
could be 5 or 6 people involved here.
I think that the thought was that the time and effort required to go through all of that would take up multiple CLC meetings to the exclusion of everything else.
Okay.
And that it
So
was
can
more
you-
effective to have a subcommittee meet and,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying on the subcommittee part, but if you send me what you're trying, send me who you think is on it and what you're trying to accomplish, and I will check to see what you actually need. Because I don't know that you necessarily need a subcommittee, and I'm not even sure that you can appoint someone from a subcommittee yourselves, so.
Oh, that's fine. All I'm
I will
saying,
help.
we have a subcommittee. It's been established. There've been people sworn in.
No, but
Yeah,
I,
yeah, but what I'm saying is, if 2 or 3 are going off and working on this, then it doesn't have to be a subcommittee, it's just a couple of people meeting at someone's house with beer, right? It doesn't have to be a formal.
Well, that's a relief, because,
If
well,
it's-
the way it was presented, you know, this has to be all public and above board and on screen.
and all that.
If fewer of you are meeting than a quorum, then you can, and you're not taking it and discussing it with the other members outside of a meeting, then you don't have to have it that way, right?
Okay, just don't want to be outside of the
Yeah,
law.
so-
here.
So that's what I'm trying to, if you send me what you're trying to do, I'll make sure that it's legal.
well, but I think,
And you might want people outside of your committee involved in this, in which case it might be a select board committee that we form and we'll appoint you guys, some of you to it and people outside of it.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out, right?
The members are John Folsom, Mike Prue, who I don't think ever,
Was Mill
Wilt
Pond.
Wanzer, Leon Weaver, and Matt Silverman. So we've got everyone but Matt and Mike.
Mhm.
Yes.
but I think to Mark's
Yeah,
point,
just,
maybe Jerry and I meet. I don't know if you drink beer or not.
Your beer.
We meet at my house and maybe Mark, you come along and be like a referee and,
You drink, if you have a good beer, I'll be there.
and you read the
So,
report.
but I mean, we don't even know what we're doing yet. So I think to have to do the work to found a subcommittee is rushing things a little bit.
Okay, so maybe we meet casually a few times
Yeah, and we
before,
report back to this group, you know,
Yes.
what our thinking is.
actually more relaxed and probably an easier approach.
As long as you don't have a quorum of members, you're okay.
Okay,
And as long as then you don't discuss it out, what the things, if there were, there's 7 people on this committee, if 3 of you discuss it and then you come back and tell 6, well, yeah, okay. If
So,
you're still fine, as long as you don't go and try and have the discussions outside of a meeting about what you discuss. You can disseminate information, but you can't discuss information,
okay.
Except in the open meeting.
except in the open meeting.
Right, okay.
so if there's I think what you're trying to point out is there is a Mill Pond subcommittee. It's on the town website, so that does exist. And it has a charter. It says the Mill Pond Subcommittee of the Littleton Clean Lakes Committee was formed to assess the status of the Mill Pond Restoration Project to prepare recommendations going forward. So you just want to make sure we're not circumventing something because the
Also-
committee exists.
only three of the people on that subcommittee are members of the Clean Lakes Committee, so that's not a quorum.
Yeah.
So, they could meet, I mean, and,
But we're talking about.
of course, no, we have Gary, then.
Yeah.
Would it be true that others besides the formal subcommittee could meet and bring recommendations to the CLC
Certainly,
separately?
Yeah.
And that would be fine, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, this was just, from an official status, the Mill Pond project died, the Army Corps of Engineers pulled out.
right,
Nothing was ever said to anybody in the community in terms of releasing some sort of a notice or a flyer or a newsletter or something. That, this is not going to proceed. So that would have been the first loose end to sort of tie up, and then to go beyond that to say, what's the next step? Do we try to reestablish, for example, the Mill Pond Association and bring a new core of people together to say, what should we do with this problem?
So I'm just thinking, we went through the process with the orchard recently. After we leased the orchard, MAPC came in and we did a couple public forums about what people wanted to see. We could reach out, see what it would cost to do something through MAPC, like for something similar for Mill Pond, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, we got a grant basically from MAPC to pay for the orchard stuff, so we could look at something similar.
All right.
But you need enough information to go and say what you want MAPC to do.
What does MAPC stand for?
Metropolitan Area Planning Commission.
I mean, at this point, we might even, weigh the possibility of what sort of, questioning residents as to where they like things to move.
Right, so that's what they did in the orchard. I mean, we had 2 public forums and, down in the library and,
Yeah.
20 to 60 people show up or whatever and, yeah. So, but you need to have enough information to know what questions you want to kind of ask.
Maybe beers at Mitt's Place is a good way to start.
Yeah.
Just after the holiday.
Beers at Mitt's Place.
I could go, it's got legs.
Well, wait a minute. It can't be a forum, Joe.
Okay,
Dang it.
that's great. In terms of
Yeah,
an update, I'm still pursuing, moving forward on the engineering for the little path that goes down to the boat launch. And having that done, over the winter so that we can have the actual project completed, hopefully, before before this time next year. That would be the dream. We'll probably run out of money, as we well know, with just the engineering, but we will perhaps talk to the CPC about the actual construction costs and move beyond that. So that's in the works, and there's still a parcel of land that somebody's trying to give to us to add to that little parking area. And I'm gonna pursue where that stands too. So we have a number of things stirring at Mill Pond,
But you're pursuing, as Carmen spoke to me about it, so you're pursuing that?
I'm looking, yeah. Not rapidly, but that's that. At Long Lake. Mark, we talked last time, Dave and I met with you about the possibility of altering or amending the dredging permit, the minor dredging permit, to include somehow dredging up some of the sand at the town beach. I don't know if you've had a chance to.
I have not pursued that.
I don't know what's involved with that either, but maybe Tim Pearson would have a much clearer
I will
idea.
be meeting with him next week, so I can bring that up.
I'll suggest you get DCR involved. They offer counseling on those sorts of things that was identified in the 2 meetings that we held either earlier this year or last year, so they have some knowledge that they can bring to that.
So
Yes.
do you have other things on Long Lake?
Well, just that it's unlikely that we'll see any invasive mitigation this year, because the funding that we have there is reserved for eco harvesting. So got fingers crossed we'll have another killer winter and very little invasive activity there. So see about that. And then there's oh, I guess there's no way next season that we could pursue, any kind of removal of, floating islands either, because we won't have a permit in place for minor dredging, so.
So you might want to consider, I know those funds are good, CPC funds good for 3 years. You might want to consider if you aren't going to have the permits to start talking about throwing the money back in advance as you go to fund your management plan and other things. Why not? If you know it's just a matter of time that you're going to lose the ability to spend the funds, then proactively present them back to them so that they can see that it's a net.
Yeah. I did try to go to the, Park and Rec Commission meeting last month, but, there were a number of illnesses and the meeting was canceled. So I don't know. Have you been to one of their meetings and had any kind of discussions about,
You missed what he said earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you talk about the funds that were raised?
Didn't talk about the funds that were raised. I did reach out to Saul Rainey, the chair. He acknowledged that he intends to bring up the Camp T,
Okay.
that, they're $555,000 a year ago. And if they would do a similar to the Long Lake Beach membership, I put together something that was given to them, started off with 5 to 10 grand a year and bump it up by 5 to 10, and all of a sudden you've got a 25 to 30 some annual contribution that's not overwhelming their fee structure for Camp T. He said he'd bring it up. He didn't go into that level of detail that I just said. That was all in the memo that was given them a year ago that they didn't take action on
Right.
a year ago. He said he's bringing it up.
Well, they're making steps in that direction and we're grateful, certainly benefit to Long Lake. And it seems as though it's going to become more and more of a focus, of funding for Long Lake, because it is a perfect source, for those people who use the lake to, contribute to its betterment. And
Camp T is the biggest user.
that's great. So, so that's Long Lake.
I have one on Long Lake, so the Auto property, hit the market the other day.
Really?
Does
What?
anyone know them?
What property?
The Catalanatos.
Yes, I'm
Huh?
familiar. So they get a right of
Is
first.
that the foundation
That
that is up behind the
It's
website?
across from
That,
Brownwood.
that's the one across from Browns Woods, the last part of the last part to get their way around Browns Woods. They have 20 some acres over there. The property hit the market the other day. Does anyone know anyone associated with them? Cause we're having trouble contacting.
No.
So I can, so LC Littleton Conservation Trust.
They're on Jim O'Neill's pointed it out, so.
Yeah, so.
Tim
There's
Pearson tried to reach out to them
years ago.
this summer. He tried to reach out and managed to hit the lawyer for the estate, but we haven't
I
figured out.
can tell you that I've researched it in the last 2 months. There's a right of first refusal that somebody has with regard to the property. That's in the property records available in the assessor's office.
Okay,
So I'll jump on that.
okay, thank you. I'll forward you the chain.
Yep, thanks.
So it's the last little bit to get around Long Lake. Not that you could actually get around Long Lake on it, but
No.
well, depending on how, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised how expensive they were. The right for first refusal, if I'm remembering correctly, is $1.5 million.
It's listed for 1.5. It's 20 some acres.
Yep.
They say they can put 10 houses.
Yeah, most of it's wetland. So, okay, so let's trade information.
Is that on Tahadawan? Is that,
It's on Tahoe.
what's the address? I'm still looking it up.
146,
Okay.
but it's a very funky shaped property, so,
146,
Yeah.
had one?
yeah.
Okay.
The house is well away from the lake. It's kind of a C-shaped property.
It's the build-out would be quite distant from the lake. It's a matter of how many hundreds of feet, then concern yourself. But again,
Which side of the road
it's
is it
not
on?
It's on the lake side. I mean, how
Yeah.
would you even
On the
build
lake side.
anything on that side?
Okay.
Cause that is
Yeah,
all
both sides.
wetlands.
Of the road. And so, yeah, that must be the really marshy area, right?
It
Yeah.
goes down to, it connects down to the marshy area, yes.
Yeah.
It must have the AT&T easement through it, I would assume at some point too.
Yeah, then, the update on the park parcel, on Lake Shore Drive. Another meeting last month, with Conscom and, some of the residents who have docks, along there. And that's progressing. I think we're gonna have another meeting. I think, Conscom's gonna have another meeting. Around 18th or 15th or something like that.
16th, I think.
16th, is it?
Think so. I think it's the 16th, 2 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah, okay. I don't know exactly where it's going, but it certainly doesn't seem as though the town is going to be forthcoming with a dock, so, likely there will be some private docks that will have public access.
Yeah, I thought the last meeting was disturbing with regard to the Conscom members targeting no motorboats.
Yeah. I don't know
So
where that
I
came from.
encourage the select board, as I have already, to get involved, because Conscom is kind of looking solely at the parcel that they have responsibility for, and ignoring the fact that Park and Rec has a parcel that is on the lake, and that the select board has property that has violations that's on the lake, and there are violations that haven't been referenced in the Conscom discussion that are in the lake. So it's like, it'd be nice if they treat the whole thing as one thing, as opposed to just dealing with the little, not the little, but just part of the challenge that they've got.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what they anticipate doing.
Yeah.
In terms of a total project, it seems like they just like to rewild the place and kick everybody out. Close down the neighborhood.
Well, they had like 12 or 16 different, but there were like 12 options, I think, and they were kind of trying
Yeah,
to
Chase did put
see
together,
which things they could drop from the list.
yeah.
And then the
Kind of
other,
organized thoughts and on
Right.
different topics and, at the different levels of
right,
whatever process they're undertaking. Do nothing to complete takeover, but, it's difficult for the neighborhood because it's been sort of laissez-faire for over 50 years. And
Yeah.
an awful lot of time and effort's been spent, whether it was the Long Lake Neighborhood Association or just individual, homeowners, taking it upon themselves, like Rob does, to go, pull out invasive plants and try to take care of that property. And to consider it as a park space, not just a wild space. It's got different functions. There are places where it's grassy, there's places where it's sandy, there's places where it's just dense brush. But it's a delightful place to walk in the mornings and, well, anytime. And there are certain qualities about that should be preserved and noted, and some kind of lake access through docks. I mean, I've always gone through neighbors. It's never been a hassle. They're cautious that nobody's goofing around on a dock, but they've always been welcome to anybody who wants to launch a canoe or a kayak, and I keep mine under the deck. So, it's, I guess it's a positive that it's come to this point that Conscom is stepping in, and saying they'd like to have, to assert their control, but, we'll see where it goes. I'm sort of standing off because I don't have a dock that's involved, but I do have adjacent neighbors and I use their docks on a regular basis, both of them, 3 of them, 4 of them. And without those docks, it's sort of silly. You can't have a lakeside neighborhood with no access to the lake. So,
Yeah.
that's absurd. So, keep me posted.
did you say that there's some land along the lake shore there, which is owned by, under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, some which is under the control of the select board?
Yes,
So the lake itself has got, do you know where the beach is?
Yeah,
Okay, so on either side of the beach, on one side, you have, away from Prouty Woods, you have select board property. And towards Prouty Woods, you have Conscom property.
Oh. That's like the outlet area, right?
The select board has very little property. It's a very small stretch.
Along Lake Shore, that's.
Lake Shore-
Lake
Lake
Shore.
Shore's Conscom.
All Conscom,
Right,
yeah, and that's the parcel they're primarily discussing.
right.
And then whatever conclusion they come to there, you know, would, likely, I guess, apply, as well to the select board property.
And there are lot of stretches along there that are conservation land and they're just filled with knotweed, you know, Japanese knotweed.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'd be nice if that could be taken care of, right? That would be awesome.
But there are other places where people keep their canoes and, you know, stack stuff and,
Yeah.
and, you know, really, it's not their land to stack anything on. We have neighbors who keep pontoon boats. And, well, you know, you need a dock. Doesn't just take care of itself. And, okay, so it's not a legal dock, but, you know, we have those neighbors who own docks would like to go through some legal procedure to say, yeah, this is legit, this is fine, this is, you know, if somebody else wants to come and launch off the same dock, they would have no objectives. They've gone through the trouble and expense of putting this in themselves and maintaining it. I think it's imperative, because I don't see that the town is gonna have any kind of resources to put together a dock or a series of docks anytime in the near future, so. And I'm not sure that would be the ideal solution either, but,
Do they talk about granting a right of way to the properties that are on the?
well, legally, it would be some sort of a waiver or, what was the term? Did you see the?
Yeah.
The
I was
last
at the meeting, but I didn't,
meeting?
the presentation wasn't available during the meeting, so.
Right, it's true. And a lot of,
So they were talking about granting a license basically to put in a dock off of their property. So. And then the question is how many docks they allow and whether you have to pull them every year and, you know.
well,
And would you have to share them with your neighbors? Like, do they essentially become a public dock?
Yes.
you know,
So
the
that's
ones
all.
that aren't pulled annually become abandoned. And then, you know, because the ice will just pick them up and roll them, but,
Yeah.
so, yeah. It's not the intrusion that the Conscom is making them out to be, but, then again, there are places where people park across the street and people, you know, could probably avoid doing that. That's not really their land to park on, so. But an ongoing chat, so that's that. Any further news, any updates, anything that's gonna take us into the end of the year? Because I don't have much more.
I got a little news about Forge Pond. We have muskrats now. Well,
Is that a good thing or a bad
I
thing?
don't know.
Otters. I think they're otters.
Well, Karen looked it up. So this is from Karen Ellingbo. Straight across from my place and hers. 3 mounds have appeared in the lake bottom that's now exposed.
Yeah,
And they're about this high. It's
different sizes.
well, there are 3 of them that are like a pile of 4 basketballs.
Mhm.
And she Googled around and found some description that says this is what muskrats do when the lake bottom becomes exposed. They have some kind of burrow under there, and they put this little kind of house over the doorway to their underground burrow.
Huh.
So we haven't seen that before. I mean, the lake has been down this level multiple times. We've never seen this.
And one of them was there a couple of weeks ago. The other 2 just showed up in the last week.
That's right. Yeah, with the third one popped up day before yesterday.
The big one, yeah.
We have muskrats on Long Lake. I've never seen where they live. They just gather at the shoreline.
Yeah, well, I think they just live underwater. You don't see it.
Yeah, usually they have burrows on the side of like a riverbed. They'll dig little holes and they'll have
Riverbanks.
tunnels like along the side.
Yeah.
That's where I've seen them.
So we have
It's
an
a healthy
otter
thing.
along our property,
Right, on your dog.
which spent the summer living in our dock. and when we moved the dock this fall, there was this whole, like, all, you could see where the dock was because there were tons of mussel shells under there that had gotten dropped from munching inside the dock. Now that the drawdown has beached our dock, he was still in there, a month ago. Now that it's high and dry, he's moved over to Johnson's, which is right, still sort of tangentially on the
And
water.
are you able to tell that it's a weasel?
Oh, I think it's an otter.
An otter, sorry.
Yeah.
It's illegal. They don't have a permit for either the dock or the clamming.
We do have a permit for the dock.
No, the muskrat.
Oh, the muskrat. Oh, well, we're welcoming him. So, yeah.
It may be an indicator of an unhealthy environment.
Kind of left, we're talking about otters, weasels, or
Yeah,
muskrats?
for humans.
I thought we were talking about an otter.
We have an otter under our
Oh, I
dock,
guess it's an
and
otter.
he's saying that the new mounds that have shown up across the,
Where did the weasel come
we're talking, we're not,
Family.
in? Yeah.
Well, Karen's a pretty sharp person. I mean, this isn't
Actually, no.
an uninformed investigation that she's done, and she concluded it was muskrats. We saw some stuff, an animal run across our dock one time, and it was only visible for a moment. And I tried to look up what it might be, and a weasel, an otter, a stoat, all these characters look the same to me. At least if it runs across your dock and dives in the water and disappears, and you just get
Right.
that much time to look at it. But a tail like a weasel with a little bit of fur on it, not big and fluffy, just slender, an animal about that long with short legs. So I can't tell the difference between an otter and a stoat. They look the same to me.
this guy floats on his back and eats out in the water.
Otters do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if stouts do or not.
I don't know a stout.
Yeah, I never heard of that either. I'm looking it up now.
Newer on me.
Yeah, well, like I say,
It's like a logger.
No, that's a beaver.
Oh.
Their favorite population is wetlands, like swamps.
So this is right next to a wetland there.
Yeah. So I think it's an okay thing. This is a page.
Yeah, we have
Mascot.
otter on Spectacle Pond, and usually in the winter they'll haul out on the ice with a nice big fish, and they'll munch and eat and eat, and there'll be a bunch of bones and blood left behind, and then they'll go get another fish. So our otter may be coming in at Forge Pond. They
Do
come.
they have ice houses too?
Say again.
Do they have ice houses too?
I don't think otter do that regularly. I think muskrats build their own houses. And there are some stories of muskrats cohabitating with beaver. So the beaver build a lodge, and the muskrats rent out a part, I guess, of the lodge. They seem to get along. Oh.
Oh, they live in the same neighborhood. That's great.
Yeah, sure.
Otters are carnivorous and muskrats are omnivores.
Yes. It's not a good deal to have otters on the pond where you have beaver, because the otters will eat the baby beaver. Being carnivorous, yeah.
we definitely have beavers in Forge Pond, and now we've got an otter.
Not as many as we used to.
I'm
You know,
wondering
the otter
why.
may be working
Yeah,
paring down the beaver population.
Yeah.
yeah.
They
If we get
tend to step in the Beaverbrook wetland, I think.
The beavers do?
Yeah.
I've seen them swimming around my place.
Not as much as in past years.
Okay, that might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they just, last week, the Westford took out a beaver dam that was, under Beaverbrook Road at the bridge there. And the beavers were, shoring it up, for the wetland, and Westford DPW took it out.
Beater, otter, muskrat.
No weasel.
Stout,
No, we saw.
stout is an ermine.
The color's a little different,
Well, that might be
Are we done?
Western.
but at
Those are
20
Western.
yards, those
I
two
bet.
things look a lot the same.
I think we can adjourn.
Do we want to pick our next date then?
We would love to.
But you probably don't want to do it on a Wednesday night when it's gonna be the Westford CPC meeting, which you said was.
No, theirs are on Tuesday.
Oh, because the dates you provided looked like they were Wednesdays on the calendar, but maybe it was.
Then, I mean, I was 9th, 12th, 13th, oh, yeah, 20th, not the 21st, the 20th,
Okay, then that's
Yeah.
the Tuesday, you're right.
yeah.
Okay,
So what are we looking at?
January.
Yeah.
January 7th, January 14th.
Wow.
I could do the 14th, I could not do the 7th, I don't know when the next.
I'm saying 14th, good.
14th.
Let's do it.
Let's call it 14th. Leon,
Yeah,
January 14th,
I'm good.
like that.
Okay, got it.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, John, you too. Meeting here,
Meeting here.
the 14th, okay,
Yeah, we'll aim for this. We haven't been bumped out of here yet, but
right. Oh, well, just as a penciling it in,
it
that's all.
just keeps getting better and better with the screen on the wall now.
Yeah.
Somebody's pulling string for us. Thank you all for coming out all year long, and Mark for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, for all of
Thank
your
you for joining
support this year.
Yeah,
And Rob, you have helped move this committee forward in leaps and bounds
and Karen was very,
Just instrumental.
with Zoom. I'm like, with Zoom, yes, and Karen.
So you see
Thank
that
you all.
property, this for
And we're signing off here, guys. Ed, thank you.
big area.
All right, have a good night. Thank you.